привет, это Антон Огнев. Мы находимся сейчас в гостях у EA в Стокгольме. В этой поездке нас интересует два проекта. Это Mass Effect 3 и Синдикат. Но это основное блюдо, которое мы увидим завтра. А сегодня небольшая презентация, посвященная фри-то-плейным играм от Electronic Arts.
The first game we launched in the portfolio is Battleforge. It was launched back in May 2009. And since then we launched 4 other games. So we've been around for a while, yes. I manage the portfolio of games and how we market them and how we sell them to the players. In my team there's an experts that are marketers or they're experts at pricing, so we know how to price the items in our games. There's community managers who actually talk to the players in the community or on Facebook and so on. And that's all a very important part of the daily show that we put on for our players. Our games are open and people are playing 24/7 basically, so we need to be there to talk to them and cater to them.
Как известно, бесплатные онлайновые игры – это очень-очень большой бизнес, и, конечно, я хочу в него влезть, причем влезть с качественными продуктами. В России в их игры играет больше миллиона человек, что, в общем, прикольный показатель. Собственно, отсюда EA координирует свой весь фри-то-плейный бизнес, а это там 2 Battlefield, Battlefield Heroes, Battlefield Free-to-Play, это Battleforge, это такая повесть стратегии карточной игры, если помните. А это Lord of Ultima, недавно запущенный, это Need for Speed World, ну и, конечно, их новая игра, это Conquer, Tiberium Alliances, который нас, собственно, и интересует. Пойдемте узнаем подробности.
Tiberium Alliances is an MMO strategy game. That means it's not an RTS game in the classic sense of the word, but you have your base on a large world where you're actually with 50,000 other players on a large continent, and your base is occupying a certain space of territory. You can expand your base, you can build an army inside of your base, and you can go attacking camps of forgotten units that are enemy faction to gain some resources for them and increase your base. You do that to build up your army, to be able to research new units, and then again, start attacking more of those bases, maybe attack some other players, but maybe also join up with other players, form an alliance, take up a larger space of the map, be able to get hold on some strategic positions. We're obviously in the Tiberium universe for this game, and from the timeline, you will place the game mostly between CNC 2 and CNC 3. There was a time where the world was quite fractured, everybody was struggling for survival. You might even have some GDI teaming up with Nod to survive in the external struggle against the Tiberium, which is spreading across the world, which is the backstory, effectively, of Command & Conquer as such in the Tiberium universe. I don't want to get into details of the backdrop of the story yet. We will release that as soon as we go into the open beta. In general, the game is placed between CNC 2 and CNC 3, and the Forgotten play a huge role in our game. Actually, the whole center of the continent is taken up by the Forgotten. Tiberium is spreading and the Forgotten are benefiting from it. So right now on this continent, both GDI and Nod have to fight the Forgotten to find the space to make sure that not everything is covered by the Forgotten by now, and they're getting pushed out. The interesting thing about the Forgotten is, so far they have only been touched very briefly throughout the CNC fiction. So we took the chance to use them and give some more depth to it, bring in some more official units and give some more background to what the Forgotten actually are about. But our game here is not about telling a story, because the stories are told by the players. The stories emerge by how the players behave, by the battles that the alliances have against each other. We don't want to put a story structure on the game as such. There are 2 big aspects to the game. The one is fighting against the forgotten, which are the common enemy. The other one is fighting against other alliances. The majority of the battles in the game happen against the forgotten. So to get to those strategic positions at the center of the map, you have to fight your way through the alliance, through the territory of the forgotten. So a lot of battles take place against them. Many other battles on a daily basis happen by you raiding and stealing resources from forgotten camps which are close to you. But the really interesting battles happen when players collide, when player interests collide, when two alliances start to fight over strategic spots. So you might have days where you're only doing fights against the forgotten, but once you enter a serious battle against another alliance, you might also find yourself spending 3 or 4 times in a day in a row where you're only fighting other players. But in general, you could say that probably like 90% of the fighting which is happening, at least 90% of the fighting is happening against the forgotten. And it's like the cream on the cake, the icing on the cake, that's the fighting against players.
Ну, блин, игра, в которую ты играешь в автобусе, игра, в которую ты играешь за завтраком. И, в общем, мне кажется, действительно может сработать.
Race for fire. We have your target. Target individual.